Good morning, everyone. Today, our team will be presenting about overcoming organizational problems, how to build an effective team, build an effective project management, and work with teams. Hello, my name is Kezia Hilai, and today I will be presenting about the overview introduction of our topic. So we will be talking about what a team is, what virtual teams in a company are, effective teams, and lastly, effective project management. So, to start with, introduction, organizations are never free from challenging issues such as effectiveness, performance, and teamwork. Teamwork in particular is a very challenging aspect that organizations nowadays face. As collectively as an organization can, it wants to work together with all its employees to achieve the goals it has set for the quarter or year. For an organization, and especially teams within an organization to effectively work, communication has to be present and constant for all to be working on the same page and excellently. And we see that on our pictures we have here. As an organization expands and ventures new worlds, it is preeminent that issues such as trust and identity also arise, especially when virtual teams are involved. And we see that team here stands for together everyone achieves more. And today, the world is defined by the term teamwork age. All businesses, both large and small, require effective and efficient teamwork solutions in order to continuously meet their customer expectations and attain a competitive advantage and therefore be successful. Whether a company is a large or small company, it realizes that the right amount of financing, materials, talent, and experience are not enough to succeed without a good teamwork in place that enables smooth transaction sealing. So teamwork here is at the heart of regional and international integration. Continuation. Factors are in play in an organization's success as well as problems, and we see that every single day with the decision makings every organization make. They either make them or break them, and it is then important for organizations to distinguish the different underlying factors that are working with or against them. It is key, and especially to be able to understand and act on it to allow the overcoming of organizational problems and thus build effective teams, build effective projects, and work with teams. Now, will be talking about some topic about the team and the virtual teams.
Hi, thank you. My name is Will. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about virtual teams. Virtual teams, they're basically the modern version of a team. In today's business world, virtual teams are used in order to connect employees that would no longer or in no way be able to form a team before. Today they can through virtual means, and that's the virtual team. So what is a virtual team? It's any team that communicates through email, video conference, or any type of similar medium, any type of conferencing that is virtual. The main difference between a team and a virtual team is going to be that a team is usually located in a geographic location. They meet face to face, and the virtual team is going to be people. They can be spread out anywhere from over the city to all over the country to all over the world, and this can make it really difficult to have an effective virtual team. In order for the team to be effective, you need to have trust, and in the virtual team, it's hard to establish trust. So today we're going to talk about how to create trust, some of the problems that virtual teams face, and we're going to give you a type of it's called a community of practice, a way to get around the problems that teams face by using basically something besides a team in order to keep your employees together. So the technological problems that are going to be faced by virtual teams, it depends mostly on what the style of the team is. There's hot teams and cold teams. As you can see, the hot teams are going to work simultaneously towards a common goal. So you can think of this as like a group of attorneys working on a case all at the same time over video conferencing or something like that. And a cold team, they're going to be working independently towards a common goal. So maybe like a group of writers who are writing a sitcom, and every writer has their own season or their own episode of the season to write. So their goal would be to write the season of the sitcom, but each one has their own episode. So they work independently and not necessarily all at the same time toward that goal. So hot teams, if their communication goes down, the main problem is for them is going to be that they need all the group members there in order to proceed with the work as efficiently as possible. So they're going to need to have backup lines of communication open. If the video conferencing goes down, maybe start a phone conference or something like that, or maybe an instant messaging service. Also, the cold teams. That although they don't really need each other to be there, they do communicate through these virtual means, and so also it would be nice if they had a backup means. The cold teams, they face losing files like that. If one of the writers were to lose his episode or something like that, well, the whole group still needs his episode. So in order to fix that, what we recommend is that you have good technology, quality products, and that you make sure that wherever you buy from has quality customer service, so that if something does go wrong, they can try to help you correct it as soon as possible. And just make sure that you're constantly backing up your files and make sure that you have it saved to another device. Some of the organizational problems that can be faced by virtual teams, well, the hardest one would be establishing the collective identity, and part of that is that trust that we talked about earlier. In order to establish the collective identity, you need everybody in the group to know, in the team, to know that you're working towards a specific goal. You need them to know exactly what the goal is, and you need them to agree on how they're going to accomplish that goal. Otherwise, you might have people in the group who are working towards the same goal, but going about it in different ways, and therefore taking away from the efficiency of the group. So you just need to make sure that everybody is on the same page and working together. One of the best ways to do this is to have the first few meetings face-to-face. This not only helps the people get to know each other and establish a relationship and therefore establish some trust between each other, but it helps each people talk and get to know, okay, really establish the collective identity. This is what we want to do and this is how we want to do it. And then from there, they can kind of touch base with each other through virtual means rather than, go through an exclusively virtual team, which is very rare. So it's much better to have a hybrid version, which is definitely what we suggest in the scenario for your company. And finally, the communities of practice that we talked about at the beginning. This isn't so much a team because they're not put together to do any specific task. They're more put together just to they want to learn. That's the entire point of the community of practice. So they get together and they share knowledge with each other, people from different industries, people from different departments, and they help each other become better and more prepared for the future, but they don't necessarily have a task that they're set to perform. It is a little harder to keep these together because once the people in the community lose interest in learning, it tends to fall apart. So it is a little bit more difficult, but it's an alternative to teams that are effective and just a kind of a different way to go. So next we have Daro, and he is.
Building effective teams. Building an effective team is not always an easy task. Without a certain strategic view and effective teams, a company simply cannot reach its goals. That being said, it is easy to understand why a company will be experiencing some difficulties in the particular area of teamwork. Fortunately for those companies, there is a 7-step process that should help managers across the world build the most effective team to help their company reach their utmost potential. Many U.S. companies use groups of employees in order to reach their strategic goals. Most people work in groups, and that is why it is very important to effectively organize them into teams. Step number 1 in the 7-step process to building an effective team is to identify the key team characteristics needed to reach the company's goals. Behavioral scientists believe that success of the team building efforts is dependent on the number of desirable characteristics in a work environment. The manager should build the team taking into account the number of factors, including the type of team built, the team's goals, team's level, length of team's existence, etc. Step number 2 is the measurement of existing team characteristics and team profile. Research shows a positive connection between the positive team characteristics and its success, meaning the team's success depends on positive team characteristics. That is why it is very important to measure the existing team characteristics in order to develop them to the needed degree. Team characteristics can be measured by applying team surveys, observations, and interviews. Step number 3 is an identification of deficient team characteristics. Obviously, it is very important to identify the team characteristics that should be improved in the process of team building. Step number 4 is the usage of the predetermined criteria to choose proper intervention actions to change the deficient team characteristics. It is very hard to manage the entire range of deficient characteristics simultaneously. One should choose the deficient team characteristics to be changed first, and the proper sequence of intervention actions to affect them. Therefore, the manager should use the predetermined criteria that will help them to select the most important characteristics. The 5th step is to identify team building strategies that will be used to overcome deficiencies in team characteristics. After determination of the most important deficient team characteristics that should be affected first, the manager should develop the team building strategies. Step number 6 is usage of predetermined criteria to choose the intervention strategies to improve the determined deficient team characteristics. It is very unlikely that the managers will have time, energy, and resources to use the entire range of intervention strategies simultaneously. That is why it is very important to use the predetermined decision criteria, which will be helpful for managers to select the proper mix of intervention actions. The last step is the implementation of needed intervention actions and assessment of their effect. The implementation stage is a crucial element of any team building intervention. The entire range of intervention actions should have its own sequence of steps developed to improve the previously determined team characteristics. With the implementation and execution of this 7-step process, you are almost guaranteed to successfully build an effective team. By having an effective team, you are putting your company in the best position to achieve success. Next will be Mang.
We intend to build your project management team correctly. You need the right team, right people in the right place at the right time. And if you are to ensure optimum growth, we intend to develop your team so that your people can grow as the company grows. The purpose of this is to equip you with these tools that can help you teamwork productively and successfully. These techniques will help your team organize information, organize and run effective meetings, and generate useful member contributions.
Thank you, Meng. Now for our references, we have the following. And that's a wrap for Overcoming Organizational Problems, How to Build an Effective Team, Build an Effective Project Management, and Work with Teams. Thank you again, everyone, for your time.